New Year.
There. Hi guys, I'm Kolby.
And I'm Andrew. Welcome back to Uncut Hawaii, where we talk with Hawaii's most interesting and innovative creators, entrepreneurs, and change makers. It's so crazy. It's 2024.
It's 2024. Holy smokes. And we are literally recording this like the morning of January 1st. It's like the first thing we're doing this year. Super excited to start it off with just talking story with each other and about what we have coming up.
Thank you so much for your support, for listening, commenting, liking, subscribing. It means a lot to us. It's crazy. It's been over a year now. We started this in March
Almost
2022.
2 years. Mm-hmm.
Almost 2 years, which is crazy. I mean, I think just like the consistency and us being able to do it consistently and continue to bang out these episodes for you guys. Like, we're stoked on it. We want to share these stories and we're happy with ourselves.
Who would have known? Almost 2 years later, we'd have like 70 episodes in the bank. We've talked to so many amazing people along the way, and 2023 was a huge year for us. So I remember starting 2023 and writing down my goals, and one of them was get Uncut sponsored. Like literally, I have it on my lock screen. You can't really see it, but it says get Uncut sponsored, and we got talking with CPB, Central Pacific Bank, and early on in the year last year, they were like, yeah, we like the idea and we want to partner with you guys. So that was huge. And then we're able to work with several other businesses.
Yeah, that was exciting because I think, going into 2023, we were like, what are we going to do with Uncut? From March to
Mm-hmm.
December, we are just kind of just cruising and recording and doing it and without a really major plan. And then we're like, we need to get sponsored. We need to figure this out. And CPB coming out and supporting, small businesses and our podcast, that was awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to Hawaiian Airlines that also sponsored us. They allowed us to fly back and forth, and Andrew to come to the Big Island and me to fly to Oahu all the time. Um, we got to work at Subaru Hawaii, got to work at Capena Tequila. So looking forward to other working with other companies too and brands and seeing how we can help elevate their brand too. But what a year. I am so excited to kind of like go back and remember all like the highlights of the year. I mean, what were some of the highlights for you, Andrew?
Think the first episode that we took on the road, I actually flew to Hilo to meet up with you, and I was like, "Oh, this is a glimpse of what Kolby does every single time she records on Oahu." So it was cool. I had to pack up everything. We had to figure all that out, bring it over to Hilo, and then we were able to set it up in Kuha'o's, studio and record and hear his story. And it was nice because we were in like his hometown, like his element, like,
Mhm.
cars were passing by. He's like, oh, that's Hilo. And, so it was like, it could be like in their comfort space, instead of like our studio or whatnot. So that was a really memorable episode. And it was our first one because that's when we announced the Hawaiian Airlines sponsorship.
Yeah, that was such a good one, and we got to see Kuhao's baby and do some shopping, and it was awesome. Definitely a memorable episode for sure. And his episode is definitely one of the most listened to ones, and we go pretty deep into culture and the whole meaning behind Sig Zane designs and even him as a creator. So such a good one.
What about you?
I love bringing Uncut to my mail. That was like the next level. Like, wow, I can just go up the hill. That was so nice. We got to record at Fork. Shout out to Alan. Thank you for letting us use your space. But we got to record several episodes there. I think one that sticks out for me in my mail was, I mean, all of them do for sure, but Chef Ippy, because he's just
Mhm.
so rooted in the town. Like he grew up here. His parents owned businesses here, and the fact that he went, all over the world, and he's been on like the national stage competing on TV and stuff, but then just wants to raise his kids here, so he's trying to figure out how to do what he loves from the place that he loves. And for sure, like one of those episodes that like was really close to my heart because I love this
Yeah.
town too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Waimea was a special episode too, because yeah, I got to go in. I mean, I've been there a few times with you, but just to talk to other people in the community too, and hear their stories and their connection to Waimea and like what Waimea is all about, and it was just amazing to hear about all that. And
Hopefully we can
Yeah.
do more of that in 2024, going to different
Yeah,
places.
I mean, just to stem off of that, like that was a great series because when you came up with the idea, hey, let's take Uncut on the road, I was like, what, like, what, let's do it, like traveling, cool, I'm in, and then, but then it was like, oh my gosh, like it's actually a lot of logistics and planning, and
Hmm.
um, Megan was pregnant at the time, and like we're,
Yeah.
we're both busy with like our careers, and it's like, how do we schedule this in, or how do we make time for it and whatnot. So that was kind of an exciting time, and it was cool to actually execute it, and we have those episodes to show, and hopefully we can do more.
Yeah. I mean, not just the packing all the gear, but then we also have to film it too. So it's like a
Yep.
full on shoot. We have like tripods, cameras, lights, and all that. So
And
shout
then
out
we
to
have to record.
Dustin. Yep. Shout out to Dustin who came out and recorded some episodes on the Big Island with us. We're learning, everyone, we're learning how to best make it the most efficient and figuring out
Hmm.
sustainable ways to do it. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Another memorable moment, there was a big tragedy that happened on Maui this past year, and we had like a recording date scheduled afterwards, and we were just trying to figure out what to do with it. And so I think the episodes like right after that, just like it was so
It
fresh
was
and so
heavy.
raw. It was heavy. It was heavy. It was like hard to like talk about any other thing and like whatnot, but it
Mhm.
was cool to like hear all the different stories from everyone. So, Anuhea's episode was really good. It was really short, but I felt like it was like super like to the point. Like we shared stories, she shared her stories and memories, and just like ways to deal with grief and all that kind of stuff. So it was heavy, but it was a much needed conversation, and I'm glad we were able to use our platform to share those stories and hopefully help others.
Yeah, I love those raw moments that we've had on the podcast this
Hmm.
year, where it's like you don't even really expect, when we go into our conversations, we tell our guests, like, we want it to be super talk story, chill. Like, there's not that much structure, like, to what,
Hmm.
to every episode. So when the Lahaina fires happened, we were really nervous about, like, we didn't want to say
Hmm.
anything that would offend anybody, or it was just like it was happening right after the fire, so we didn't want to be insensitive. But when Anu came and she was just raw and she started crying, and we were all crying, and it just reminded me of like why we want to do this, is just to
Hmm.
help people feel like we can have a conversation about it, we can be raw and real about it, and you're not alone. Like, I'm sure a lot of people felt, those were things that she was talking about. So it was a very like big moment for us, I think, just to be able to still have those conversations even during a difficult time.
100%.
Yeah. Another episode that sticks with me to this day is with Kelana, and this one
Hmm.
happened earlier on in the year. She just
It was
has
our
this
Valentine's
spirit.
episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. She just has this spirit that's just like so, so warm and happy and joyful. And I think we all left that conversation feeling like on top of the world, like, yes, let's do it. We can do anything. And she just talked about things that she was manifesting and really planning and hoping to do during the year. And it was so cool to just watch her just do all the things that she talked about.
Yeah, that was another episode too where it was like I remember we were like struggling. We are like, oh, we should, find someone to talk about love or something for, Valentine's Day. And then like midway through the episode, she was going deep into like loving yourself and like looking in the mirror and really like being proud and stoked about who you are. And like midway through, we're like, yo, this is the Valentine's Day episode. It's like you have to love yourself in order to love others. And it was just so cool, like those moments. And then, one of the big things was she wanted to move to New York, and she did it. She's living in New York. We just saw her recently at a show, and she just came home to play a few shows. But yeah, she's living in New York doing her thing. So congrats, Kilana. We're stoked.
Yeah. It just makes me feel so one proud of, like, I think of them as our friends now, that we
Hmm.
have this 1 hour like to deep dive on their lives and like their dreams and their goals and stuff. So we're just cheering them on.
Hmm.
But it also motivates the shit out of me. I'm like, whoa, if she can just speak that into existence, say like yeah, I want to go and like do music in New York and experience living on the East Coast and like also be like bi-coastal and like come back home and play. And we're just like, whoa, those are like big dreams. But just the fact that she did it in just a matter of months, it's like, wow, you really, if you set your mind to something and you work hard, like sky's the limit. Literally nothing you can't do.
I think that's like the common theme in all of our episodes too. You know, we get to talk with so many great people, and just be able to share it. I mean, hear their stories, and like, yeah, it's definitely like super inspiring and motivating for us because like, you know, we're going through the same thing. We have businesses, we have like our personal lives, and to hear other people doing it, and like, again, it's just like for us to have like that conversation in that room, it's like, oh, we relate. So for us to be able to share it with you guys, it's like we hope like you guys can relate to those stories and, you know, take something from it and be able to like grow from it, because like for us, we leave the episodes like super amped. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
mentally exhausting and whatnot, but we're like, oh my gosh, like what do we do next? Like, you know, we just recorded an episode for this new year, and she talked about meditating and journaling, and like
Yeah.
we're like, you know, every episode someone talks about it, and we're like, we need to do it, we need to do it, we need to just set our minds to it and do it.
Yeah, seriously, it almost feels like selfish, like we're getting like free therapy or coaching or something. I'm like, wow, hopefully people feel the same way when they listen to these episodes, that they also feel like amped, like, yes, let's go. Like not just like cheering on the people in Hawaii that are doing big things, who are making big change in Hawaii and around the world, but also in your own life that you're like kind of take a little inventory, like, is there something that I should be approaching or something that I should be doing? Like, is there something that I don't love about my job or want to improve about
Mhm.
myself? And yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
You know, as we're going through, like, we had some rough moments, you know, it's just it's hard, it's really hard, and um thank you, Kolby, you know, for like planning and like scheduling everything and flying into Oahu every single time. Like, it's so great to have like a good partner and person to work with and do this with. So I'm super grateful for you, and I'm excited for what this year brings for Uncut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't know if you do New Year's resolutions, but do you have anything that you're like, any big goals that you can share with the Uncut family that you're looking forward to besides Uncut stuff, like just in your personal life or in your work
Yeah,
life?
it's, you know, it's been crazy because we usually do like set out time aside in like Q4 to, you know, set goals and figure out what we want to do, Megan and I. And we kind of didn't have a chance to do that. We had like you know, Megan and I had a daughter in September, Emery. She's been great, but you know, she's been like the sole focus of our time and energy
Yeah.
for the rest of 2023. So we didn't really have time to sit down and set goals. But I think once Emery was born, goals, perspectives, like everything has changed a little bit for us.
Mhm.
And I think the big one, the main thing, like I think the overall theme is, how do I free up more time, pretty much, right? You know, time is so valuable. It's something that you can't create, doesn't come back. And especially now with this little human in our lives, it's like, how do we spend as much time as we can with her, you know, grow with her, learn with her, teach her. And so everything I'm involved with, it's just like, how do we free up more time, whether it's being more efficient, you know, working smarter, not harder, those little things. But um a lot of new ventures too that I want to like venture off into. I haven't really had time to sit down and like write it all down, but I have that plan for this week. So I'm excited to do that. And I think going back to like, I think something small, big thing, I want to journal and meditate every
Hmm.
day. Even if it's like a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just like being consistent. That's going to help a lot.
I feel that. And I
What about
think,
you?
well, I think for one, you having a baby is one of the most, well, beautiful things. And I'm so excited for you, but it's also one of the most relatable things. So I'm actually
Uh-huh.
really excited for like, to be on this journey with you and for like all of Uncut to be on this journey with you, like kind of just navigating like what it means to be an entrepreneur and a dad and like just that balance. Um, my kids are like 10 years ahead of you.
Hmm.
I'm like in a different phase of life, I feel like, with my like in parenthood and in running a business.
Yeah,
So I think
career.
it'd be cool to I'd be like, oh, I can totally relate. And Emery is an angel baby and she sleeps through the night. So I'm like, you better be counting your lucky stars because it could be so much worse. But
Super
it'll be fun
grateful.
to go on this journey with you and see how life changes. And it's like just constantly, and once you have a baby, I feel like it's just like constant changes. Like you kind of get used to a routine and then they'll just like change it up on you and then you need to like readjust. But yeah, just that like bigger purpose of like now it's not just about me anymore. It's like about my family and about my baby and what's best for her and what I can provide while also like killing it on this side. Just this like constant balance, which I don't even know if that's really a thing. Like,
Yeah,
there's no such thing.
kind of adding to that a little bit. I mean, I mean, so I think another reason why like this is such a great partnership is like I've known you for so long, and you've seen me grow from interning at all these companies, like working with you, and then starting my own business, and then doing all of that stuff, and then now having my own family, and yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we talk about all these things and get to connect on so many different levels. So I'm just super grateful for this relationship.
We've been through many eras together,
Yeah.
many eras.
What about you?
Um,
Do you have any resolutions or any like new goals or anything?
I want to keep it simple. Like, I feel like every year has been very like, okay, like write down all of our goals, like all the things, like, and hustle, hustle, hustle. And like this year, I really just want to keep it simple. Like, I just want to
Mhm.
definitely journal. That's like my one thing that I'm like, and I started this like at the end of 2023. But yeah, the consistency, the daily practice of it, that's the hard part because I'll forget. And like if it's not
Mhm.
like I had to set an alarm, like, and now the girls are on Christmas break, so it's been a little bit harder to keep a routine. But like I have an alarm on my phone, like just journal 5 minutes, and it has to make sense with your schedule, you know. So yeah, journaling is a big one, and I just want to do I want to do less. I just want to do less this year, but just very, very intentional, very
Mhm.
meaningful. Like if it's not getting me to my goals, like I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to sign up for it. I don't want to say yes to it. Like it's really like growing uncut, um, figuring out hometown legends, and taking care of my Aria Studios team. That alone is plenty, but you would be
And then
surprised.
your own family too.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. And that's a whole nother, like,
Yeah.
we can get into it in another episode for sure. But you'd be surprised, like, how many I used to do coaching a lot. So, do like mentorship stuff or like even like mentoring at schools, which I do love all these things. And I know as like entrepreneurs, creators, if you're listening to this podcast, I guarantee you're one of these people that you want to do a lot of things because it feels good that to be wanted and needed and to be like helping people. But I just need to focus on just like
Mhm.
the three simple things. Like these are my three buckets, and everything else needs to be like very, very simple. So this year is about doing less, but more with that less, you know?
Yeah, being very intentional and free up more time to like be able to focus on like these things that you have. So that's great. I'm excited for you too. We'll
Yeah.
keep each other accountable.
Accountability partner for sure. This will
Uh-huh.
be it every week. Okay. So how about you tell tell everybody what our plan is?
That kind of leads to a lot of exciting things we have for 2024. Um, Kobe and I, yeah, we've known each other for a while. We started this podcast in March, and then it was like, okay, we're recording these episodes with all these other awesome guests, and we're sharing their stories and whatnot. And we would hear it from like our friends and like other listeners, and be like, oh, how come you don't share your stories and whatnot? And it's like, well, it's just like these episodes, like they're just so great already in itself when we're sharing other stories, but we were like, oh, why don't we share, or why don't we just talk story? Like we have all these great conversations like off the air, and we're like, oh my gosh, we should have been recording that.
Yeah.
I think the ultimate goal is just being able to create more and share more with you guys. Um, having conversations between us. We want to start this thing called Uncut BTS, behind the scenes, and basically it's a new series where we go behind the scenes of our lives, right? Our personal lives, like Kolby was saying,
Mhm.
me having a baby, um, Kolby having a family. How do we navigate that as entrepreneurs?
Mhm.
Um, Behind the scenes, look into our businesses, right? How do we operate our businesses? What kind of things do we do for the teams? What kind of systems do we have? What kind of goals do we have? And then just like a behind the scenes look in like everything, right? Like
Yeah,
whatever
behind
topic comes
the
up.
scenes of the podcast, what it takes
Yeah.
to put together a podcast, continue a podcast, some of the things that we think about, some of the guests that might come back on to just give us the life updates. We've always like wanted to kind of keep in touch with our guests and like bring, they're doing so many amazing things, and they're busy, and so we can't just like keep bringing them on for like full episodes, but we thought maybe this would be a fun way to bring them back just for a short quick life update. So a little bit of that, and yeah, just things that we're going through that we think might be relatable, some challenges that we have as parents, business owners, podcast hosts, that we hope that we can create a conversation around.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah.
we're super excited for that. I mean, just being able to like create more
Yeah.
and share more content, and like Kobe said, create more conversations and hopefully connect with more of you out there,
Hmm.
with
Yeah.
our stories and our problems and issues, because everyone goes through it. We all go through different things. Like I always, reach out to come like, oh my God, this just happened. What should I do? Like, how can we solve this? And, and I think it'll be great for us to record it, share it, create the conversation, and go from there.
Yeah. So it'll be uncut, it'll be real, it'll be real life behind the scenes. It'll be a weekly thing that we could just catch up. If you guys have any questions or topics you want us to talk about, then please send it to us. I think that would be fun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're going to just be recording from our own home studios.
So this is like the first Monday of the year, January
Yes,
1st, literally January 1st, 10 a.m. So when we came up with this idea, we were like, okay, let's record the first Monday of the year. We
I
looked at
know.
the calendar, we're like, yo, it's January 1st.
I know, like, okay, well, we'll talk. We'll
Yeah,
think about it when the morning comes. Like, we text each other. How are you feeling? Not
yeah.
hungover? Yes, let's record.
No, but it was just like, okay, first win of the year, first win of the Monday, first win of the day. It's just like set it in the calendar, do it. We're doing it, and we're gonna try and keep it consistent every Monday for you guys. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. We're
I'm
stoked.
really excited about it. Yeah.
This will change. Our home studios will get an upgrade, so we'll see how that goes, and you guys will be able to see that too.
Weekly BTS Mondays, and then new guest episodes on Tuesdays. And we just batch recorded 3 episodes that are so good. I cannot wait to share them.
Crazy. I mean, lots
Oh,
of things going on. 2024. I mean, this morning I woke up, I saw Emery in her bassinet, and I was like, oh my gosh, Happy New Year, Emery! Like this is a new year. Like she doesn't know the significance of it yet,
yeah.
but it's just like it's a new year. A lot of people use the time to like refresh and whatnot, but it's like, what can we do? How can we crush 2024? So we're excited to create this new series, Uncut BTS, for you guys and share it weekly. And stay tuned.
Thank you again for following along. I know there's some diehards out there that watch every single episode, comment, share it, that have been really the reason why we kept pushing through all the hard
I still
times.
can't believe it.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to all of our friends out there who are watching and sharing and cheering us on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
So,
guys. We
yeah,
love you
Happy
guys.
New
Thank you
Year.
for the support. Happy New Year. Enjoy your time and let's crush 2024.
Let's do this.